Hello, my name is Randy Dobson. I'm an instructor here in the Houston, Texas area. In this video, we'll be covering the isometric command in Autocad. Uh, I usually start off talking about the isometric to let my students know that I typically call it a fake 3D. Because when you are drawing an isometric, it's just giving the illusion of 3D, but it's really not. It's actually on a flat surface if you turn something sideways. I always like to pull up these right here. Let me pull it onto my screen here of this sidewalk. And as you can see the sidewalk, you can see it, the lines of it here, but by doing this illusion, it makes it look like, this is a waterfall and this is all underwater, but this is all painted on a flat surface. That is how isometric works. And again, it's a pretty cool thing. Now, isometric, normally when you're working in AutoCAD, if you draw a line and you turn on your ortho F8, you've got, this is what's called rectangle mode. And then if you go to isometric, you're going to be in isometric mode. The older way of changing this snap over is you just go to the settings, which is right here, the grid or snap settings. Just right click on the grid settings. Right here you have rectangular snap, which is your regular. Then you have isometric. And when I go to isometric and I hit OK, notice now that everything is skewed 30 degrees because an isometric is based off of 30-60. If you took hand drafting classes, that's why there is a thing called a 30-60 triangle. Now, just like with a rectangular, when you use line, if you have ortho off, it will go anywhere it wants to, just like this. Nothing isometric about that. But if you have your line and you turn ortho on, as you can see, I can go up, let's say I go up 50, then I can go across 50, go down 50, and then close it. Well, you see I've done one side of that 3D view. I'm going to do another line, and I'm going to hit F5, and if you notice down here on my command line, you'll see it change to ISO top. So now I'm just going to go 50, 50, 50, and close. Now I've done the top. And now I'm going to start line again. Start here, hit F5, and now it's going to be isoplane right. And I can go up 50, go over 50, come down 50, and then just close it. Now, as you can see, I'm going to move these over. I've got the three sides. Oops. Try that again. Right there is that. And then I'm going to move this over to be on the top. And there I have the three sides of a box. Okay, I could copy this one over to here to get this side and so on. Now, one thing that I want to show, and I'm going to have to actually go to my settings so I can show this to you real quick. Okay, I want to get my view cube back on over here. If you notice, watch when I go to, see, now there is my object. As you can tell, it's not true 3D. It's not a solid model or a solid object. It's just drawn on a flat area. And then when I go to look at it from the side, you can see that there it is right there. The same thing as our infamous little picture here. This is all done on this sidewalk. There's nothing below there. Okay, so just want to point that out first and foremost. Get this back to top. So when you're drawing an isometric, that you can, the F5 key, I'm going to just hit it a couple times, and I want you to look down here at the bottom. It's going to go ISO left, ISO top, and ISO right. Okay. understanding that they each have an opposite side, but in doing an isometric, there's really only three planes you need to work on, which are those three: left, right, and top. Really, one of them should be front, but that's AutoCAD's problem, not mine. Uh, Now, whenever you're working with these, you can change the plane you're working on while you're in the command. Remembering that F5, all your function keys are transparent, which means they can work while you're in a command. So I'm going to start line, and I'm going to draw this way 50, and I'm going to go up 50, go over 50. Now, instead of closing it, because I want to keep going, I'm going to go down 50. Now I want to go out to this side, so I just hit F5. Now I can go out 50, go up 50, go over here 50. Okay. Now if I want to, I actually kind of did myself in a corner here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it again from this end point here. And now I just hit F5. Now I can go over 50. And then go over 50, and now I've drawn my cube. If I wanted to show the back of it, I could go line, go to the end of this. I want it to go down. You notice it won't draw me a line down, so I hit F5. It'll draw it down. I'm going to go down 50, and I want to go over 50. And then here I can just go from line from endpoint to endpoint. It will let me do line from end point to end point, and there I've done my cube. So this actually looks a little bit better if I took these right here and made them oh, I don't have any line types in here. I was going to say I would have made them dashed. You would see it a little bit better. Let me actually just change the color a little bit just to that makes it a little bit better. Let me do these. Color, we'll make those red. So now you can kind of see, here's the outline of the box that you can see, and then these are actually back in the back. You can't see them. They're hidden. So in dealing with an isometric, you're working at a 30-degree angle. Also on your newer versions of AutoCAD, over here under your customization, you can go to isometric drawing. That brings it down here, and it shows this little X. And here you can activate it. Here I'm back on rectangular. Here I'm back on isometric. I'm going to go back to rectangular just to show you. I'm going to go line from here over, and this right here is going to be 30 degrees. Kind of zoom in so you can see that. This is 30 degrees. Okay, going this way would be 30 degrees. So it is it's based off of that. If I drew this line here and came down perpendicular and kind of trimmed this up here, well, if you've done hand drafting, there's your 30-60 triangle. That is what that triangle is for, is to draw isometrics. Now, one of the downfalls that AutoCAD has with isometrics is, I'm going to undo all this, is the dimensioning. Dimensioning does not work as well as it should. I'm going to go back to isometric, and I'm going to go to dimension, and see this, the automatic dimension is not working. If I do it to aligned, I go from end to end. As you can see, that line should really be out over here. They do have, under the Express tools, they used to have it. I'm sorry, it's under the annotative. Let's go to dimension. Have to find it here because they keep moving it on me. Text angle. Here's oblique, which is same as isometric. And it will try to work it, but it really doesn't. What you have to actually do, if you type in style, you actually have to set an oblique angle of 30 degrees, a negative 30 to get it to work. It's not real usable. In my courses, I do not have my students label the isometrics because the other softwares that are out there will do it much, much better. But it's a nice little software isometrics to do. Again, here's the rectangular and here's the isometric. Remembering that this is not true. As I go to an edge, you can see it's flat. So there is no thickness on that. It's just a fake 3D. And that concludes my video on isometric.